How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Everyone's having a lovely day. Bengals Ravens Part 2. This one makes you a little anxious as a Bengals fan, because this was the team this was the game, I should say, Thursday Night Football last season. Bengals Ravens. Burrow goes down, injury, out for the season. And we're going to go once again, Bengals Ravens in Baltimore, Thursday Night Football. Bengals with a chance to go 500 on the season and really get the ball rolling if they can beat the Baltimore Ravens. Really their biggest challenge on schedule, without question, their biggest challenge on schedule for the remainder of the season. If you can beat Baltimore, you can see this team getting hot. If you lose to Baltimore, you see this team go 4-6. All of a sudden they say, hey, they can afford to lose one game the rest of the season if they want to go and make the playoffs. And this is no easy bout by any stretch of the imagination for the Bengals. This is a Baltimore Ravens team offensively. It really feels like is got the best supporting cast for Lamar Jackson that he's had in his career. And if it wasn't enough, they say, hey, let's go get Deontay Johnson out, a little bit more out there. I mean, now this guy's got Deontay. Zay Flowers is really starting to come together. It looks like you got Derrick Henry, of course, Mark Andrews. Plenty of talented players. Baltimore right now, the number one ranked offense in the league as far as yards per game are concerned. And it's not even close. They're averaging 30 yards per game more than the second best team in the league, that being the San Francisco 49ers. Number one rush team in the league. Again, the reason teams just keep letting Baltimore have these players, when you really look at it, how did Derrick Henry end up in Baltimore? Pretty wild. Nonetheless, here we are, Baltimore in prime position to just steamroll teams this season, and the Bengals have to find a way to slow this team down. Last time these two teams faced, 41-38, Baltimore won in overtime. Last time these two teams faced, really the Bengals should have won it. It was the Bengals' game to win. They had a 2-score lead. We was in the fourth quarter. The defense, if we remember this game properly, had no prayer. They didn't have a chance. We'll say what it is. Early in the game, they made the stops. They did what they had to do. Late in the game, we were seeing 20 yards, 15, 25. It was just down the field, back and forth. It was an exciting football game because the Bengals were answering. These defenses were obviously probably gassed at that point in time, but both these teams were just going down the field, up and down the field with ease, with speed, to say the very least. And it ended up being the Baltimore Ravens defense, the one we said you have to be careful with, that can get pressure on the quarterback, that made some big plays late and forced the Bengals into situations, third and longs, sacked the quarterback, got the ball back for their offense. Offense found a way to win the football games. And that is what has been ever so important. We were just talking about this with the Bengals-Ravens game last week, or Bengals-Raiders game last week, I should say. What I liked about the Bengals versus Raiders game was the offense. We walked into the third quarter. The offense, Burrow wasn't over 200 passing yards. Chase wasn't over 50. Nobody was over 50 receiving yards. But the Bengals were up 31-10, which was meaning, hey, offense is clicking, offense is making plays. In my eyes, I said offense is doing a good job of executing the key plays and the key moments in the game. You executed the fourth down play. They double dipped from the second end of the regulation, the first quarter or second quarter to the third quarter of the game. They ended up getting a touchdown in both of those. They had the turnover, the fumble recovery. They turned that into 7 points. Those are important. If you remember, they had those opportunities in Baltimore to close out the football, or in Cincinnati to close out the football game against Baltimore, and they did not do it. And that is a big part of football games in this world. Hey, you execute those 2 or 3 big moments, 2 or 3 big plays in a game, the difference in winning or losing the game. And to see the Bengals come out of the Raiders game there and say, hey, you know what, their execution was there, makes you feel a little bit better about their chances in this football game, because that is what's important. Plus protecting Joe Burrow. And if T. Higgins can stay healthy. T. Higgins being healthy or not is massive in this football game. That is, Zach Taylor already said he's going to, they're going to see what they can do to get him. They can get Orlando Brown Jr. playing Thursday. It's a short week. Makes you feel like, trending the wrong direction. But I think they know that this is must win. If they can get these guys back, they can get them back. I mean, Joe Burrow, this was, you talk about something different. Joe Burrow, and it's all over the place about how upset Joe Burrow was in that Raiders game. Man threw for 5 touchdowns, and he was not happy on the sidelines. And I think it's got a lot to do with Joe Burrow saying, we got to score 30 plus a game. We got to score every drive we get the football. That's my expectation. And he knows that because this defense has not proven they can stop anybody offensively. That is a good football team. They gave 37 against the Eagles a couple weeks back. Again, they gave up 41 to the Ravens, and he just knows that's the situation this season. So he's playing with a lot of fire, knowing the expectations are through the roof. But when you're lit without T. Higgins, who could be a complete difference maker for this Bengals offense. We're still waiting to see somebody step up out wide here for the Bengals. Burton having the character issues. Joseph just want to see the guy step up. I want to see the guy play well, but it just at this point in juncture, he's had plenty of opportunities. I'm not sure if it's there. Good sign for the Bengals to say, hey, okay, we know what to do next season. We're going to draft a player, sign a player, maybe even try to trade a player, but that is the situation they're in up against this Baltimore Ravens team. Thankfully for the Bengals, hey, Burrow moved this football up and down the field against the Baltimore Ravens in game number 1. And more importantly, Joe Burrow has statistically been the best quarterback in the league in the months of November and December these past few seasons. That is when the Bengals get hot. That is when they play their best football. And I do believe that Joe Burrow and company find a way to put up 35 plus in this game. I don't know if I can say I believe this defense finds a way to hold the Baltimore Ravens under 35. They're going to have to get a couple turnovers if they want to win this game. I think, again, we see a high-scoring football game. And interestingly enough, when you go into a game like that, it's going to be high-scoring. It ends up being like 17-12. I just don't see that happening. Somebody puts up 12 points, so it might be a blowout. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Trey Hendrickson, let's talk about it, buddy. Man's up here leading the league in sacks. Heck of a game last week. 4 of them against the Las Vegas Raiders. This man is, at this point in time, the heart and soul of this defense. He is the person that they depend on the most to make the plays, to get some pressure on Lamar Jackson and company. Remember, last game, Lamar Jackson had a hard time containing him, 12 for 55. Again, he was gashing him through the air. And you understand it. It was hard. He was trying to stop this guy from the pass game. It was hard to spy on a guy. It's hard when you want to do as much as you could to support the pass attack, to slow down Derrick Henry, which typically the Bengals have done pretty exceptionally well to slow down Derrick Henry in his career. They do have that going. But it is so important that this defense can get some pressure on the quarterback, or on the quarterback, and get it on there quickly. Hope he forces a couple mistakes, because if they give him time to drop back, he's going to pick this defense apart one by one. They're going to score a touchdown every single time. And Trey Hendrickson, play like the defensive player of the year that we know he is capable of, can be a big deciding factor in this football game. Can Jamar Chase build off of the last Ravens game? There was a couple games there where the Bengals were kind of struggling, or Jamar Chase was struggling against the division. But remember, this is early in his career, he was gashing the Ravens, the Browns, the Steelers. And last time we seen him play against Baltimore, once again, it seemed like he had that fire back in him. And if we could see him build off of that once again, Ravens gonna have the same secondary lineup here. A little thin there. They got a little cautious. We'll see what happens there in that department as well. Once again, we know the Ravens' strong suit is that defensive front. And that's what we always talk about with the Bengals. Like, it's so important to get a good pass rush. You can make that secondary look so much better. I mean, we're seeing some improved play for the Ravens there, but again, it's just, I think they know their secondary is not where they want it to be yet. Nonetheless, look at this football game. Thursday night in Baltimore. My problem is, I think the Bengals need to get some turnovers. And I don't know if your reigning MVP is going to provide that many turnovers. I think the Bengals are going to have a hard time stopping his defense. I think we see another high-scoring football game. I think the team that settles for the field goals will be the team that loses this one. I'm going to say Bengals 34, Ravens 38. Nonetheless, love y'all's thoughts. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.